Welcome back and thank you for checking in with us today. I'm Marty with Warehouse and Operations as a Career, and today I'd like to talk a little about choices. This week I've witnessed a lot of incidences where people made some great ones and where individuals went a little different direction than I would have. I guess when we think about it, we're making choices every day, really every hour that is going to affect us or maybe affect us in that next hour in some way or another. Just this morning, I was going to work and saw a driver speed up to go through an amber or yellow traffic light instead of safely applying his brakes to stop. Now, I'm talking about him wanting to make it through the light with more than enough room to safely stop, but he made the choice to accelerate and run through the red light. He chose to risk his vehicle and life as well as the other vehicles and the lives of the people that had started proceeding through their green light. Another choice I see a lot here in Dallas, Texas, or in our area are people that just lead such busy lives that instead of waiting their turn in the left turn lane, they choose to run ahead of everyone that's waiting their turn and turn from that center lane. They don't seem to care that everyone's slowing down now while they're inching in front of someone, forcing all the rest to stop. Now, I'm certain that they are just very special people or entitled in some way, but they choose to make that choice. Again, that's their choice. We can find ourselves doing the same thing at work, can't we? We're in a hurry or think that we're in a hurry and can make a less than desirable outcome choice. I saw a gentleman lifting a pallet from the 4th level. There was about 3 cases hanging from that front right corner, probably just dislodged when the pallet was placed up there. Anyway, instead of pausing the lift and going to get someone to help scoot those cases back in place, he chose to try and pull the pallet out. Now, although he was being extremely careful, and by the way, taking a lot of time trying to remove the pallet without dropping the cases, 2 of the 3 fell the 12 feet to the ground, damaging about $212 worth of freight. But it's all about choices, right? Here's one that left me scratching my head. I was at a sourcing company and had a recruiter grab me to visit with a young applicant that she was interviewing. She asked me to speak with him about a training class I would be teaching the following Monday. The gentleman had just really entered the workforce. I think he'd said he'd had 2 previous jobs before and was presently working as a general laborer at a lumber yard. His family was actually moving and he needed a job in the area. She had told him about the 3-day class and how it included some instruction on the pallet jack and forklifts, as well as the basics of warehousing. I visited with the gentleman and his father, explained what the class could offer or what I felt that, the advantages would be and how it could be advantageous for him to take the class. The recruiter had some great jobs that he would qualify for upon completion of the class, but she also had a position that he could start first thing in the morning. I had explained after graduating the class and being accepted for one of the positions that she had spoken with him about that he should see 5 to 10% increases pretty quickly, and once he'd gathered a little more experience on the equipment, which they would be willing to spend time training him on, getting a little more experience, he'd be looking at substantial increases within 6 to 8 months. His issue with the class was that he'd have to wait a week to start working. Keep in mind now that the class was going to be free. The employer was going to be refunding its cost. But he couldn't get past the fact that it'd delay his start by 1 week. Even after I ran the numbers for him and showed him the difference in just the first month of employment between his choice of taking the position starting in the morning and foregoing the training class. He chose to make $40 a week less so that he would not have to wait a week to start work. Of course, we're all allowed to make our own choices, but that's not the direction I'd have taken if confronted with the same choices. But of course, it was fine that was his choice. It just kind of worked for him. I can kind of understand this one here, kind of to a degree, I guess. A young man working for a staffing agency quit because no one was going to bring his check out to the facility on Thursday. A little bit of background on this story. When the gentleman was hired, he was asked for a direct deposit number or account number, and at the time he just didn't have one. So the hiring agent explained that he'd receive his first 2 checks live and usually on Thursdays, but after that, If he didn't set up some sort of direct deposit, that he'd need to come by the staffing office on Fridays to pick it up, or they could mail it, and people usually received it on Saturdays or the following Monday. Well, I guess someone had been trying to help him out. Anyway, he never set up a direct deposit, and someone was bringing his checks out to him for like 5 or 6 weeks on Thursdays. This particular week, no one was available to run it out there, and he got really upset over it. His solution was to quit. Of course, then after he quit, he came to pick up his check at the office. Again, it's all about choices. He chose not to set up his direct deposit and chose not to accept that responsibility. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with him making those choices. Just not the choice to further our careers. Here at WAOC, we're all about furthering our careers. I believe we as applicants and employees do have to shoulder the weight or responsibility of our jobs, though. Today, I took a call from a young gentleman that I had helped place twice before. His recruiter was a little hesitant to employ him again as he had been released from his last 3 assignments due to attendance issues. Knowing him as well as I do, I could speak with him openly, so I asked him if he had resolved all those past issues, had reliable transportation now, and resolved his past family matters. He told me everything was great, everything was fixed, and he just didn't understand why 2 different staffing agencies that he'd worked with in the past wouldn't give him another job. I think it's important for us as applicants to remember our reputation or work history with agencies is as important as our credit scores or our word is. People that hire us entail quite a bit of expense bringing us on board, and I think we should probably respect that. I myself believe he's ready to go back to work, so I'll do my best to find an agency or position that'll fit his skills and needs. But it's a choice the hiring agents and recruiters that's dealt with him, in the past will make for themselves, and we have to understand that. Talking about maybe being a responsible job applicant, I'd like to mention our social media profiles again. It's so important. Our prospective employers are going to look at them. Right or wrong, they're going to make choices from them. Let's at least clean them up while we're looking for a new job. It really is that important. When we do get that dream job, I feel we can keep it. We spoke late last quarter about how our bosses honestly rarely actually terminate our employment. How they don't fire us, we usually end up firing ourselves. We know the rules, the processes, and procedures. Now, we may choose not to always follow them, though. And let's be honest, sometimes life is going to get in our way, and we make a choice we wouldn't normally choose. I'm a big proponent of family first, but I think we need to keep in the back of our minds that we need to be able to take care of our families too. In summary, our lives are all about choices, the choices that we make. As applicants, employees, even members of society, let's carry those responsibilities and acknowledge them as ours. I'm really big on growth too, not just in our careers, but our personal lives. And I've always felt if there's a plan and goals, and we strive to follow that plan, that we'll reach those goals. Again, it's all about choices, our choices, right? I hope we've brought up something that helps you in your careers today. I know I rambled a little bit, but as you know, I do believe we'll all be successful if that's our goal. I appreciate you listening in today, and I'd love to hear from you. Tell us what you think about choices and share some of your greatest ones with us. Until next week, let's all think before we make that choice and always choose to be safe with everything we do.